branches, we provide youth mentorship programs, and not only just youth. There's a component of family mentorship programs, and then even some other programs that go beyond youth, really with the intention to just use this ranch platform to encourage, empower, and equip, and love on people.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So many different organizations can use this. And what is a typical day when an organization comes out?
So the programs look, so we have a handful of programs, and they look different based on, basically on the clientele or whoever's coming. So we have, I'll just kind of give you a sense of a few. We have a session program, and those are 90-minute sessions which are pretty much focused on youth kind of ages 7 to 18. And they come out, they're gonna do, in that setting, they're gonna do a lifemanship skill. So when they come in over on the whiteboard, there's gonna be like a lesson. We call it a lifemanship lesson. So there'll be a word like accountability, and then under the accountability, there's gonna be a kingdom principle. So there's gonna be a scripture verse that basically talks about, what the Lord talks about with accountability through His Word. And then we're gonna have a little, like a 5-minute, like, hey, what's accountability? What does it mean to you? And the kids shout out what they think and have this kind of small group discussion. Then we'll talk about the kingdom principle. And then we're gonna take accountability and we're gonna transfer it to a tangible, again, transferring skills, to a tangible chore or something at the barn. So they'll be like, accountability, I don't, what does it mean? And then all of a sudden we're doing a bucket over here and someone didn't get totally clean. Who's accountable for this bucket? And so we're transferring that discussion. That accountability also shows up in cleaning buckets and why that's important for the horse to have clean water and so on and so forth. So transferring that skill. And then when we're done having that discussion, like why this is important and how it shows up in hard work and physical labor, and in the just general care and stewardship of this animal that we love and that we're here to learn about. Then from there, that takes about 30 minutes of that 90-minute pocket of time, and then the final 60 minutes they're going to be paired up with a session leader, and that session leader time is going to be 60 minutes, which is completely built around the needs of that kid. So it could look like they could ride a horse, they might lead a horse, they might paint a horse. It just depends on where that kid is at and what that individual's needs are.
So you have different programs, and do you develop the programs?
Yes. Yep. And so like community groups who come out, obviously that has to look a little differently because a session program is typically a one-on-one type situation where a kid is coming out. A group program is usually something like there's an organization who advocates on behalf of a certain population, and they might bring out 20 kids at one time.
Okay.
And hi Vanessa. And they might bring out 20 kids at one time, and so then we'll, say, how long do we get you for? And they might be like 3 hours. So in that situation, we might set up different stations and have kids rotate through different aspects of the ranch so that there's still kind of a group dynamic, but there's still some time built around some one-on-one type of thing. So it just really depends on, like our HOPE program is a leadership program for like corporations. So
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so like I might have like a president of North Central College, for instance, recently came out. They're one of their directors of a department wanted to do something unique for his people.
Yes.
And they weren't going to ride, so we did entirely a non-riding leadership development program all around team building, communication, where are you at in the herd? What's your role in the herd?
Sure.
And we did that through a discussion of working with horses. And then we transferred that skill to what does that look like in your herd. And then we had small breakout sessions after that regarding, some personal stuff, really intended to give them experience that is intended to look at that experience and then transfer the skill to where that applies to them in their settings, in their work environment.
I bet you have a lot of people who have big aha moments, right? That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
Yeah. We had 2 individuals out here who were a president and a VP, and they were in the same group together. And then their main, I don't know what they called this individual's title, but this individual was kind of the main person, kind of the glue between those two, in an executive administrative support role. okay?
Yeah.
And these two particular, the two particular VP and the president are both super skilled and super capable and gifted in their own areas. One is very strategic, what's the fastest point to A to B, and the other one is very relational and very loves people, uber relational. Let's grab, let's grab Rue.
Do I need my boots or should I be fine?
I would put boots on, yeah. So as they went out, so I put them with the smartest horse, one of my really sensitive, uber sensitive horses. Put them out into a situation together. They gave them both really smart individuals, so I gave them kind of a shell of what I wanted them to do. I gave them enough instruction, but also left room for questions, so that if something wasn't clear, they could ask, type of thing. And so I sent them out into the arena to accomplish a task. And what I had done is I had set up like those long skinny poles, like the pole benders.
Yeah, the pole benders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had set these poles, but I had set them up at different spaces, but none of them did I really set up fully capable for a horse to really bend through.
Oh, okay.
So I set them up where it looked like a horse might be able to bend through it, but really not fully able to bend through. And some they clearly couldn't bend through. Okay? And so then I just said, I'd like you to maneuver this horse through the poles.
Right.
And you can't do it with a lead rope. You can't touch her.
Okay. Oh, you have to. Oh, okay.
You can't touch her. Those are your only rules. You know, you can use props, you can use, there's other things around here, but you just can't touch her. You can position, you can't touch her. Go ahead and try. You got it, girl. And so they went, and the one who's very strategic just kind of just went and didn't really discuss it with anyone else in the group. And the one who's relational was kind of doing some assessment of the horse and kind of started to move up to the side of the horse and kind of was tapping into body language. And the other one wasn't tapping into body language at all. And the glue factor was kind of trying to, figure out where his role was in terms of helping support the two lead bosses. And a couple minutes went by, and this really smart horse trying her heart to give them what they wanted. And she stopped, and she just stopped dead stream, took this huge deep breath, and looked at each of them, went.
Like, what do you want? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, literally looked like, who is the leader here?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys.
You're saying one thing, you're saying another, and I don't know what you're doing over here.
This is confusing.
And so I stopped right there. I said, "You guys stop. Do you see what just happened?" And the one who's very relational said, "Yeah, she just looked at all three of us." I said, "Yeah, she's. What do you think?" I said, "What do you? Just look at her. She's a person. What is she saying to you?" And he's like, "I don't think she understands what we want." And I said, "Yeah." And I said to the leader, who was very strategic, who was the one who was very adamant about getting her through the polls, I said to him, "Now, question for you. If you look at this course, is she even, first and foremost, is she even able to do what you asked her to do?"
Yes.
And he stopped and he looked at the course and he's like, "No, she physically is bigger than."
Then between those two poles. Yeah.
And I said, so the question for you is, how often do you ask the people you're leading to do things they're not capable of doing?
Really? Need to
Are you
assess the
stopping
situation.
and evaluating, is the expectation I'm putting on this person
Right.
even realistic? And did you even, and you were up in front of this course, kind of pulling her forward. This one over here, your co-leader, who's very relational focused, understood that he had to get by her shoulder and uses physical presence, help her borrow some ego strength on how to go through. She didn't need to be jerked. She didn't need to be yanked through it.
Right.
She needed to be led through it. And leading, right? Leading doesn't always look like you're yanking people down the road.
No,
right?
that's
Sometimes
not
you lead from
leadership.
behind. Sometimes
Yes.
you lead from the side. Sometimes you demonstrate. But leadership looks. So all of a sudden, for these two business partners who work side by side, but have very different styles, an ability to kind of go, oh, this is important, and kind of find some balance and the reconciliation of what that looks like. So that's just an example of kind of a leadership
Did they get the horse and
They finally did,
got,
yep.
got her down?
Yep, we got some things, and they reevaluated what was reasonable for her and created a different plan around what was reasonable. Understand that I never told them it had to look a certain
Right.
way.
It was more of a figuring it out along the way.
People, really, the mission is around, I don't really like labels, but we use the word at-risk, displaced, disadvantaged, and vulnerable, because I do believe that at any point in time, people are vulnerable at any number of variable points in life. So that could be from the time someone's 7 to that could be to the time someone's 76. So for us, it's really just a matter of, if someone hears about the ranch and has an interest in coming to the ranch, we'll just meet them where they're at and just do life. Like it's not a canned cookie cutter approach to, we have programs, but humans are humans and everyone is an individual and has their own unique set of stuff. And you can't, when you're working with people, you can't put that in a cookie cutter. You just have to say, show up and let's just
See how it goes?
Let's just do life.
Let's
Let's
just
just
do life.
let's just do life.
Kind of see what we learned from this doing
Totally.
life and the chores and the.
Yeah. If you like coming back, come on back. If you don't like us, that's okay too. So really, but that really truly is authentically at the core of it.
It just sounds wonderful. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.